When you selling that dope, feds coming. It's been the history of Dallas. The feds coming.
And you knew that, just we're all clear here, that money came from CMG, right?
News right now, we know the trial date for the man accused of killing Memphis rapper Young Dolph. Prosecutors say Hernandez Govan was the mastermind in the killing back in November of 2021.
Gotti didn't just leave Memphis. He vanished from Dallas too, fast. After his name got tied to a fresh batch of federal charges, the man dipped like he saw the storm coming. And let's be real, this ain't just smoke. It's starting to look like a full-on wildfire. With his name already dragged through the mud over the Young Dolph situation, now Gotti's pulling the same move in Dallas? Folks saying he's not relocating. He's running. Word on the street is Gotti's playing a serious game of hide-and-seek with the feds, and he's losing ground. Reports are flying that the feds are now digging into more connections possibly tied to him. Nothing confirmed yet, but the timing? Way too sketchy. This ain't just about ducking street beef anymore. This is bigger. Way bigger. There's talk that this could be the start of a massive RICO case. The same kind that had Young Thug cuffed up and fighting for his life. And guess what came up during the Young Dolph case? Cornelius Smith, one of the main suspects, straight up testified that Gotti's late brother, Big Juke, put the hit out. That's right. And here's where it gets even messier. Rumors say someone connected to Gotti's CMG camp dropped $50,000 to help cover some legal costs. If that's true, it's looking real shady. And just so nobody's confused, let's clear this part up real quick. Cornelius took the stand and said both he and Johnson carried out the hit for a $100,000 bounty that Big Juke allegedly put on Young Dolph's head. Cornelius claimed they were each promised $40,000 for the hit, but he only got $800 before getting locked up back in 2022. And that tiny payout is what's sparking major whispers now. Because if that's true, it paints CMG like a straight-up criminal operation. And if the feds decide to treat it like one, RICO charges could flood in hard. No warning, just bam. WAC 100 already lit the fuse, comparing Gotti's situation to what went down with YSL. And like him or not, when WAC talks, the industry tunes in, even if he's messy more than half the time. But here's where it gets trickier. Some folks are saying Gotti's Dallas move ain't all about ducking heat. Word is, he actually had some legit business lined up. He reportedly pulled into town to sign a rising local rapper named Zillionaire Doe to CMG. And if you peeped Gotti's socials lately, man was cheesing hard, talking big plans, flashy posts, and claiming he's setting up a CMG branch office right in Dallas. Trying to expand the empire from Memphis to Texas. That's the public story. But come on, not everybody's buying it. People are side-eyeing the whole music business angle, because Gotti's name has always been tied to the streets. Not just music streets, we're talking real deal plugs. And the word on the block? He's tight with some major players pushing heavy weight. That's not a rumor you want floating around when the feds are circling, especially not in Texas. Dallas feds are known for moving low-key, building airtight cases in silence, then swooping in like hawks. No warning, no leaks, just bang, game over. Everybody knows the rule. When you move in that product, the feds will come knocking. That's just how it goes. So if Gotti really thought he could slide into Dallas and set up shop while the streets are already scorching from the Dolph case, and now these new murmurs, man, he's playing with fire. If the feds catch even a whiff of funny business, it's game over. There's no official Fed statement, yet. But all these puzzle pieces lining up, all these whispers flying, and Gotti jumping from city to city, some say even country to country, it's got people asking one big question. Is he dodging enemies or ducking the law? This ain't a fresh storm either. Gotti's been feeling the pressure for a long minute now, and the clock's ticking loud. Let's not forget, he was one of young Dolph's most vocal rivals. Dolph even put it out there. Gotti tried to sign him, throw him some cash, even offer him a car. But Dolph wasn't having it. He kept it independent. And that rejection? It hit Gotti hard. And now, with all this heat, the last thing Gotti wants is to end up like his brother, Big Juke. That man became a major casualty in the Dolph War, gone too soon and dragged deep into the crossfire. Real ones know. This all traces back to the respect Dolph commanded in Memphis. He wasn't just another rapper. He was the people's voice. His reach in the city, in the streets, in the community, it cut into Gotti's power big time. And that shift? That's what really sparked this whole war. So when the news broke that Dolph was gone, the city felt it deep. This wasn't just some rapper getting taken out. Memphis lost one of its realest soldiers, one of the city's most solid hometown heroes. And best believe, the city wasn't about to let that go without a response. Even the cops knew the storm was coming. They dropped warnings, telling folks to stay inside unless it was life or death out there. Why? Because they already saw it brewing. Retaliation was on the way, and they weren't wrong. Ever since Dolph got hit, his people been riding heavy. Blocks been spinning, pressure getting applied to anybody even remotely tied to that setup. This wasn't random. This was personal. Because Dolph wasn't just a rapper with a name. He was Memphis. He didn't just talk about the struggle. He lived it and gave back to those still stuck in it. Year after year, Dolph stayed tapped into the streets, showing love, feeding folks, looking out for schools, and dropping off real cash to people hurting. That man gave out Thanksgiving turkeys, blessed families during the holidays, and never turned his back on the hood. He even created a whole foundation, Ida, named after his grandma, built around giving back to his city. Dolph wasn't just talking community, he was the community. And don't forget that legendary moment at Duke University, when 2 baristas got fired just for playing his track Get Paid. Dolph pulled up in person, no press, no stunt, just vibes. He handed them $20,000 out of his own pocket and told them, "You straight till you bounce back." Who else is moving like that? Every single year, he rolled up like Black Santa on Memphis's K97 radio station, handing out gifts to kids who didn't have a thing. And guess what? He didn't do it for clout. He did it because he meant it. Just 2 days before Dolph was gunned down, he was still giving. He pulled up to the West Cancer Center in Germantown to personally thank the staff. That visit hit deep for him. His aunt was getting treated there, and it was the same clinic that had helped both his grandma and his uncle. This wasn't no PR stunt. It was personal. And that's the thing. This whole story ain't just about a rapper getting caught in some street mess. Dolph was a real one, a family man, a provider, a straight-up pillar in his city. So when they took him out, Memphis didn't just cry, they shook. The whole city felt that hit in their bones. And ever since then, the city's been walking on glass. Consequences came fast, and the first was loud. The death of Darian DMO Childs, a local comedian. DMO wasn't a rapper. He wasn't a shooter. He was a dude cracking jokes online. Thought it was funny to mock Dolph's death, clown around for a few clicks, maybe go viral for a second. But Memphis? Memphis don't play like that. These streets got long memories and zero tolerance for disrespect, especially not toward Dolph. Less than a week after that post, DMO was shot, just like that. No warnings, no back and forth, gone. And yeah, it was tragic. But for the streets, it was also a message, a brutal one. This ain't no rap beef, this is real life. This was a city saying, cross that line and you will feel it. And here's the twist, DMO. He wasn't just some random name. People been pointing out he had ties to Gotti too, which makes things even murkier. Even more twisted. Because now every move, every connection, every comment online is under a microscope. Just look at this photo right here. You can see it clear as day. These two weren't just passing acquaintances. Nah, it's looking like their bond ran way deeper than folks thought. And as the months rolled on, the body count didn't slow down. It climbed. The next name added to the list? Big Nusky, a rapper signed to Moneybagg Yo's label and cousin of Big 30. It happened in January 2022 at 7 p.m. sharp. Broad daylight. Nusky got gunned down outside the New Horizon River apartments, right there in the open. And when the smoke cleared, he was gone. Only 26 years old. But this wasn't some random act. The streets knew better. Whispers started quick. Rumors swirling that Nusky had ties to none other than Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop, one of the main suspects in young Dolph's murder. Then came the proof. Old photos surfaced of Nusky and Straight Drop chilling together. Real familiar. And just like that, things turned dark. Was Nusky caught up in something? Was it guilt by association? Nobody really knows. But the streets don't wait on facts. They make their own calls. And this one, they labeled as retaliation. Another hit in a string of them. And the pattern, it got real clear. More people started dropping. More names being added to the list. Almost every single one had some kind of link, real or rumored, to CMG or Yo Gotti. Whether they were signed artists, close affiliates, or just standing too close to the chaos. They were targets. This thing stopped being about rap a long time ago. It wasn't about beef tracks or bar for bar anymore. This was war. Street-level war. And every new victim added to the pile just made that louder and clearer. These ties weren't just surface level. They ran deep into the streets, right into the grip of the feared Trella Mafia, one of Memphis's most notorious gangs. And one name that kept popping up heavy in the mix? Joshua Taylor, known on the block as CEO Teasy. But Teasy wasn't just some side player. He was a high-ranking member of Trella Mafia, and for a while now, his name had been floating dangerously close to the Dolph situation. Police had been watching him. The streets were buzzing. Everybody knew it. Teasy's time was ticking. And on June 14th, 2023, it all hit the fan. Cops were called to Spotswood Avenue near Bunton Street at around 12:56 p.m. When they pulled up, what they found shook the block. Taylor's lifeless body slumped inside a car, riddled with bullets. But here's the thing. It wasn't even fresh. Investigators believe he'd been shot the night before, and his body had just been sitting there for hours, undiscovered, parked outside a church of all places. Just another name, wiped off the board in this silent war that's been unraveling ever since Dolph was taken out. And just when people thought things might start cooling off, they didn't. They got uglier. Let's talk about Lotta Cash Desto. She wasn't just another name, she was a rising star, a flashy, talented female rapper making serious waves in the game. Hustling hard, making moves, staying in her lane. But even staying focused couldn't shield her from the chaos. She was riding through Houston with a friend around 2:40 a.m., cruising near the 5,500 block of Richmond Avenue. She pulled up behind a dark-colored four-door at a red light, and that's when it all exploded. Bullets started flying. Out of nowhere, chaos, screams. It was a full-blown ambush. Another promising life caught in the middle of this never-ending war, and by now it's crystal clear. This ain't just random. It's a pattern. It's a purge. Two shooters hopped out and unloaded on her car. No warning, no mercy. Destiny, better known as Lotta Cash Desto, was hit multiple times and died right there at the scene. Her friend? She barely made it out alive, badly wounded, but somehow survived the ambush. And at first, people were confused. Why her? What did Desto have to do with any of this street drama? She never dissed Dolph. She wasn't reppin' CMG. She wasn't even in Memphis when it happened. She was in Houston. But then the streets put it together. Desto's father? None other than Hernandez Govan, the very man accused of setting up the entire hit on young Dolph. Govan's the one prosecutors say orchestrated it all from behind the scenes. So even though Destiny wasn't involved in any of it, she ended up paying the price for her father's alleged sins. And that's when reality hit hard. Nobody's safe. Not friends, not affiliates, not even family. After Desto's death, the energy in the city shifted. Things got colder, more ruthless. Retaliation didn't care about intention anymore. If you were connected in any way, your name might be next. And the streets? They saw Desto's death not as random, but as a message. A dark, calculated warning straight from Dolph's camp. The war ain't over. Then came another hit that shocked the city. August 18th, 2023, broad daylight, 9:30 a.m. Memphis police responded to a call at a BP gas station on South Parkway East. They pulled up and found a man sprawled out on the pavement, shot dead. That man, Tamanuel Benson, the brother of Black Youngsta. Another key CMG name taken off the board. But here's what really shook folks. The alleged shooter, Randy Ewing, didn't even try to hide. No mask, no disguise. Broad daylight like he wanted the world to see it. They pulled up, handled their business, and dipped out. No mask, no fear, no shame. Didn't care about cameras, didn't care about witnesses, just straight cold with it. The police got such a clear image of the shooter, they wasted no time blasting it out to the public. A $5,000 reward was up instantly for any tips. This wasn't quiet revenge. This was public, loud, and personal. And let's not forget, Black Youngsta and young Dolph had real history. Deep beef. Back in 2017, Youngsta got arrested after over 100 rounds were fired at Dolph's bulletproof SUV in Charlotte. He beat the charges, but the tension? It never left. Youngsta kept that pressure going, dissing Dolph in tracks, clowning him on social, throwing shots whenever he could. But now, that same energy came spinning back. His own brother caught one in the streets. That pain hit different. It silenced even him. For a minute, at least. And through all of this chaos, folks been saying Yo Gotti was walking like he was untouchable. Like the storm couldn't touch him. For years, while the people around him were getting locked up, shot, or taken out, Gotti's name stayed clean. But that shield? It started cracking. Whispers began that even Gotti's own mother nearly got caught in the madness. His mama, almost taken out. Let that sink in. She got away, thank God. But others in his circle weren't so lucky. His brother, Big Duke, didn't make it. And here's what's haunting. Duke wasn't in the trap or some shady club. He was at a funeral, just paying respects, mourning a family member, OG Eric Baldwin. A clip even surfaced online, showing Gotti and Duke standing right there next to the casket. But what people missed in that video? Two figures in the back, just standing still, watching, lurking, locked in on Duke's every move. Like they knew what was coming, like they were just waiting for the right moment. After the funeral service wrapped up, the shooters didn't rush it. They waited. Patient, calculated. They knew exactly when and where to strike. It was during the repass at the Parents Restaurant and Event Center on Winchester Road. That's when they made their move. Yo Gotti didn't show up to the repass, but Big Duke did. And allegedly, Gotti's mother was in the car with him when he stepped out. But even that didn't stop the ambush. The moment Duke got into the car, bullets started flying. The whole vehicle got lit up right there in the parking lot. A full spray down in broad daylight. Somehow, Gotti's mom managed to survive the chaos. But Duke? He didn't make it. It was over before paramedics could do a thing. Dolph's people weren't playing. From day one, they made it crystal clear. Anyone who had a hand in taking Dolph out, They were coming for you. And when Duke got hit, multiple sources confirmed he was the target. The hospital couldn't save him. That part of the story was already written before he even left the parking lot. What made things even more eerie? Surveillance footage picked up a white SUV with no tags tearing away from the scene. Not just any SUV either. A white Ford Explorer, fully blacked out, tinted windows, black rims, no plates. Witnesses all described the same exact ride. It was stealth mode to the max. This wasn't no messy drive-by. This was a surgical hit. Whoever did it knew exactly who they wanted and exactly why. You gotta understand, Duke wasn't just Gotti's brother. He was loud with it. He had a reputation for mocking Dolph after his death, making jokes, throwing shade, and fanning the flames. And the streets remembered every post, every smirk, every shot thrown. So when that white SUV pulled up, it wasn't random. Big Duke wasn't low-key. He lived out loud and reckless. He was flashing stacks on social media and even got caught on video straight up disrespecting a Dolph mural. That kind of energy? It always comes back. But what makes this even wilder is how deep it goes. One of Dolph's artists, Grove Hero, had already called Big Duke out hard. Right after Dolph was taken out, Grove Hero jumped on live and didn't hold back. He straight up accused Duke of putting up $40,000 to get Dolph knocked off. No hinting, no dancing around it. He said it with his chest. And Grove Hero wasn't just talking for views. He made it clear, if he ever saw Big Duke in person, it was gonna be on site. No warning, no talk, just smoke. And he didn't stop with Duke either. He name-dropped Gotti, Migo, and Black Youngsta too, like he had a full hit list in his head. This wasn't rap drama. This was personal. Even before all this tension exploded, Duke was moving real shady. People caught him chillin' with known ops, actual people tied to Dolph's death. One of them, CTS. The other, Hernandez Govan, the same man accused of being the mastermind behind the whole assassination. So yeah, the streets weren't just suspicious. They were watching and waiting. Waiting for someone to slip, for one move to set it all off. And that's exactly what happened. But at the root of all this, it's always been the Yo Gotti versus Young Dolph beef. That rivalry been boiling since way back in 2014. Dolph was coming up strong in Memphis, building his own brand from the dirt. Gotti tried to sign him to CMG, throw him some shine. But Dolph? He didn't want to play second. He wanted to run his own empire. Then came the album that set everything off, King of Memphis, a bold flex from Dolph, especially since that was the title Yo Gotti had been claiming for himself. That move? It lit the fuse. From there, it exploded. Black Youngsta jumped in, throwing gas on the fire, going online with wild threats toward Dolph, talking reckless, real reckless. Then he actually pulled up to Dolph's own neighborhood, strapped and ready to make a scene. But this wasn't just tough talk. Dolph's SUV got sprayed with over 100 rounds. That should have been it, but the ride was bulletproof. He walked away. Survived the kind of attack most don't come back from. But the streets didn't calm down. Later that same year, Dolph got hit again, this time in Los Angeles, right outside the Shoe Palace. This wasn't no warning shot. He was really shot, multiple times. And here's where it gets crazier. Yo Gotti was actually named a person of interest in that case. Word on the curb? Dolph and Gotti were staying in the same hotel when it all popped off. Their entourages clashed, tension snapped, and bullets flew. Gotti even faced attempted murder charges. But those got dropped. Still, that moment made one thing loud and clear. This wasn't rap beef. It was real-life warfare. Now here we are, years after Dolph's death, and it's like a domino effect. People connected to him, or tied to the other side, dropping one by one. With Big Juke gone, the block is buzzing louder than ever. People are connecting dots, and those dots are painting a picture of revenge, karma, or maybe both. The circle is tightening, the bodies are piling. And for those still standing, it's getting real lonely at the top. The streets don't forget, and the game don't forgive. So what do you think's gonna happen next? Is Yo Gotti even safe anywhere he goes now? Is the war still raging, or is it just beginning? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.